The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And Dominic Carter here with you. It is so great to be with you folks on this Thursday afternoon. And we're starting with a song. And I shouldn't sing. But you know me. You know what I'm going to do. As I walk the land of the broken dreams, I have visions of many things, but happiness is filled with just an illusion, filled with sadness and confusion. What becomes of the broken heart? Dominic Carter here with you folks. The number to reach me this hour, 800-848-9222. As you might be able to tell, I am in a fantastic mood, and we're going to keep it that way. So Mayor-elect Mamdani travels to the White House tomorrow for a meeting with President Trump, but I am starting off where I left off from the midnight hour. So when I started doing 2 shows a day, I have tried my best to keep different topics between the shows. But this time, right here today with you folks, it's different. We are rerunning 2 interviews from the midnight hour because I believe they are just that important. What occurred in New York City less than 12 hours ago? The topic of anti-Semitism. And so a hateful mob of anti-Israel protesters descended on a prominent New York City synagogue last night, chanting, "Globalize the Intifada," and urging the resistance, their word, to take another settler out, their words. Some 200 demonstrators gathered outside the Park East Synagogue in Manhattan and heckled Jews attending an event that helps them immigrate, if you will, to Israel, according to the Times of Israel. And here is one of the disgusting quotes from these nutty protesters that were out there. And I am quoting here. "It is our duty to make them think twice before holding these events," one protest leader told the crowd. So I have mentioned for the last day or so that HBO Max series, One Day in October, a powerful and deeply sobering account of the October 7th attacks in Israel. It tells the human story, the Israeli lives affected, the trauma endured, and the unimaginable loss families continue to carry. One of those families is the Tessa family, specifically the mother, Sabine Tessa. Her 17-year-old son tragically shot 6 times in the head. Her husband, in a final heroic act, shielded his family from a grenade by jumping on the grenade, killing himself instantly to protect his wife and kids. So our interview with survivor Sabine Tessa, and we're playing this again because I strongly believe this is how important this is. And as you're about to hear her say, it comes especially with a warning from her about what happened in Israel October 7th. Believe it or not, could happen here in the United States, could happen here in New York. She says this over and over. I want you to listen to this interview, and I want you to listen carefully. So, Ms. Tessa, one, my heartfelt apology and sorrow for what happened to your family on behalf of the people of New York. I'd like for you to begin by telling me your story. I know it's very painful, but please tell me what happened to you and your family.
Okay, so first of all, good evening. Thank you for the interview. My name is Sabine Tessa from Israel. I survived the October 7. My 3 boys survived the October 7. I had 4 boys until the October 7. My older son, Or Tassa, was murdered by the Hamas in Zikim Beach, not far away from Gaza, maybe half kilometer from Gaza. And 25 minutes later, my husband, Gil Tassa, a fireman in Otef Gaza, was murdered, killed by 3 terrorists that came in parachute in Netiv Asara. My home, my place, my moshav, that 400 meters from the limit of Gaza. My husband, by the way, is the same father, the famous father that all the world saw in the footage, the famous footage of the October 7 that saved his boy when he jumped to the grenade. And then the 2 little boys were kidnapped in the little house flat, and they had the Google Translate, with the 2 terrorists that you can see that open the refrigerator and then drink the Coca-Cola. He had a good, job with the Coca-Cola drink. And finally, he convinced the terrorists not to kill him and his little brother. So this is my reality. This is my real life. And until the October 7, I'm doing everything to tell the story, to tell the truth, to open the eyes of all the people in the world. Doesn't matter if you are Jewish, Christian, Muslims. You need to open the eyes because the radical Islam is coming everywhere.
So I don't know how you're still standing. You lost your husband and your son?
Yes. I will tell you. My belief is for a Jewish woman that the life is more precious than death. By the way, the reason that the Jewish people don't want to show the world all the disaster and tragedy and murdered and raped and the murder of babies that were burned alive is not because we don't want to show it to the world, because we have a lot of respect for the life more than death and death. When you bring the death to the camera, it's like you don't give respect to your close person that died. This is what we are believe in our tradition and religion. But for me, it's more than the respect. I believe that I have a weapon to show to the world. I have 2 films, the footage, and the other one is the footage that the Hamas filmed at the same moment they murdered my boy with the other friend that was with him. Live by Telegram, Instagram, and Facebook. Those animals show at live how they killed a little boy, only 17 years old, and take his life for nothing. They shoot 6 bullets straight in his head. And you must understand that this tragedy that happened in Israel maybe could have happened here in USA and in Europe. You must to wake up and to open your eyes.
I've done a lot of interviews with mothers of victims. This is very tough for me to sit here with you, and you're so pleasant and you're brave. I just don't know how you're able to go forward with life.
I don't have choice. I choose the life. Because, if I will tomorrow decide to stay in bed and to ask God or everyone why it's happened to me, they will come back? No. But if I decide to get out of the bed and promote the one day of the October, the real story of my husband and my son and other victims, and maybe try or will convince some of you to believe our story and our tragedy and what's happened here in Israel, and maybe to show the world that this hate could maybe happen here in USA. And I cannot allow it. I have a job. And my job is to open the eyes and the tail and telling the truth. Telling the truth of the Israeli people and telling the truth of the October 7. Because I believe that if not us, the survivor or the hostage that's, thank God, now out, it maybe will happen in the world.
I close this way. A very powerful film focusing on you and your family. You've said several times it could happen here in the United States. That's what you fear.
Yeah.
Do you really believe that it could happen in a place like New York? And as my final question, what do you say to the people that are listening to you right now throughout the New York tri-state area on the radio?
Please stop to be naive. Look what's happened in New York in the 11th of September. It was before 24 years. Until now, we cannot believe that it's happened. Every doco about this terrorist day, I immediately opened the Netflix or the HBO to see what really happened, because I cannot believe that it's happened here in New York. So stop to be naive, because it can be here, like the October 7. So many of them here in New York on the streets wants to kill you because you are not a radical Islams. They don't want no Jewish, no Christians, not Muslims. They are not radical Islams. They believe that the world and all the tradition of the world and the religion should be radical Islams. And it means to kill you, murdered, raped, and burned you in life. This is what they're going to do. Like the 11th of September. And today they are more clever. Don't think that they are not. More clever and more, how can I say it in English? Méchant, bad people.
Animals.
Very bad. Animals, it's a compliment for them. So please, I'm here to help you and to open the eyes of all the nation of the world. Because I care. I love the human being. I love to be one of a woman that living in this world. I love to travel. I love USA. I love Europe. I love France. I was born there. I must do something before the bomb will explode.
I am so sorry for your loss. It's hard for me to look at you. You're so radiant, so wonderful. I'm so deeply sorry for your loss.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Don't be. It's for good. Thank you.
You just heard her say, don't be so deeply sorry for her loss. It's incredible to talk to this woman. And so we see your telephone calls. I've got to take a break. We're starting with your calls when I come back. And at the bottom of the hour, we're going to hear from the creator of this HBO series on what happened to the wonderful people of Israel. And I side with them 1,000%. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So I am looking at some of my comments, and Norman Seabrook, the former president of the New York City Correction Officers Benevolent Association, just sent me a message in regards to my saying what we all know. He said, brother, please don't mess up one of my favorite songs. Thank you for the note, Norman. Let's go to Judith in Brooklyn, line 2. Judith, what's on your mind?
I thank you so much for taking my call, and I appreciate it so much because I'm a little bit emotional. I'm going to sound very tough because I'm multifaceted. I wear a lot of hats, okay? I'm a very empathetic and sympathetic person. You can't imagine. At the same time, I could be tough like nails, okay? So here is where I'm at. Two things. I respectfully disagree with this poor woman. I'll tell you why. There are Holocaust deniers till today, and there are deniers of October 7 atrocities like my Muslim Uber driver who said that it's all media lies. This never happened. He told me this. 9/11, also media lies. A lot of things, all lies according to them. So real graphic footage should be shown, okay? Like burning or cutting babies' heads. or like tying whole families, mothers, fathers, children with wire and lighting them up on fire. This happened. Like cutting off body parts from women live while being sexually assaulted, or like cutting open men's chests live to take out their hearts. And I'm not going to go further. And you know what, Dominic? I heard you last night, and something you said last night, I thought to myself, I've got to share this with you. Dominic, I know God blesses you. You know how I know? I'll tell you how I know. Because when you were saying that you are going to stand with the Jewish people, and people asked you, why are you doing this? Why? Because this, you explained it. Okay, I'm not going into it now. You could if you want. But Ted Cruz himself said to what's-his-face, Tucker Carlson, and a lot of people know this, in the Bible it says, God blesses those who bless Israel, and God curses those who curse Israel. Therefore, Dominic, I know God blesses you, and God blessed you because you're the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judith. To me, it's common sense. You stand with humanity, you stand with good people. I'm not going to stand and support those animals. Yes, you have innocent Palestinians. Don't blame the Israeli people. Blame your own people. Blame those savages of Hamas for you being tortured in that situation. Let's see here. Let's go to Rebecca, line 5 in Brooklyn. What's on your mind, Rebecca?
Hi, Rebecca. Of course, I agree with Judith 1,000,000%. We must show the world explicit photos, images of what happened. And secondly, to that woman's point, the Tessa, the survivor, regarding Mamdani's visit to Trump, I hope and I pray that Trump will wipe the floor with him. I sometimes think that Trump is a little naive, and you see, he has to be eviscerated, Mamdani, now. To this woman's point about something, God forbid, happening, it's already late in the game. So,
well, Rebecca, you are correct. It's late in the game. I'm sorry. I have to toss to a break. Folks, we're taking your live calls. When we come back, we'll be talking to the director, the person that put this all together, the creator of One Day in October, 800-848-9222.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. So at the top of the show, I totally screwed up the words of the song. I think it's by Jimmy Ruffin. Let's see if I can get it right this time.
As I walk this land with broken
dreams, I have visions of many things, but happiness is just an illusion. I got it. Filled with sadness and confusion. What becomes? All right, I got the words right, Mr. Seabrook. And folks, I do want to say this. So we have Mike in Oceanside, Adam in Florida, Sandra in New Jersey, Darlene in New Jersey, Robin in Brooklyn. And we know a lot of you are trying to get through. So just hit redial it in a second or so. Liz in Florida just put on Twitter she wants to do a duet with me. But Liz, you can sing, Miss Positive. I can't sing. I don't have the ability. Maybe one day we could do one of those videos where, you have the person being the lead singer and then the person with no talent is the backup dancer. Oh, but I can't dance either. So, we'll figure this out. Judith can help. Okay. Judith can help me with the dance moves. There you go. But Liz can dance as well. So, we'll figure it out. I do want to say this before we continue with the program, folks. There are lots of people around here that carry me on their back every day. And I mean every day. So I call him at times the mad scientist. This guy doesn't sleep, Chris Libertini. He puts together all the audio and all the stuff. And so when I'm in trouble, and something's gone wrong with the audio, that's the mad scientist that fixes it. He does all the promos, him and Doug. And if you look at the social media, so for example, Mamdani, who's meeting with the president at the White House tomorrow, how far we've come. Running game, nothing but game, but it worked. So if you look at the social media, there's one video, my man Will and the social media team, all the folks in social media, Eric, Ricky, all of them, all of the folks back there, they do a phenomenal job in terms of my social media stuff. They are the brains of the operation. So, for example, one video that was posted yesterday afternoon, if you look, it now has over 200,000 views. So that means that's a video that's probably going to go to 500,000 or 500,000 or 1 million hits. Who knows? It's about Mamdani and his first endorsement, which is to a Palestinian young lady whose father did prison time and was then deported as a undocumented terrorist. She blames 9/11 on America. And Mamdani has endorsed her for a state assembly seat. So go figure. But that video alone, thanks to our social media team, within 24 hours, it has 200,000 hits already, and it's growing. And so these are the folks, and of course Carlos and everybody else, these are the folks, Jonas, I mean, I can go on, Philippe, I can go on and on and on. These are the folks that carry me every single day on their back. We mentioned the HBO Max series, One Day in October. And the reason why this is relevant, and we just heard from the mother of a vicious attack on October 7th, Sabine Tassa. In between us dealing with this last night, right, just a few hours prior to that, a major protest outside of a Manhattan prominent synagogue saying disgusting things. Here's a little bit of that protest. And so the question becomes, we know where the mayor-elect stands on Israel. Mamdani, he wants to arrest Netanyahu. So if these protests are happening now, what's going to happen after January 1? And more importantly, how is the city of New York, via the NYPD, going to be permitted to handle these protests? Remember, Mamdani is on record before the election saying that he wants these protests to have more power and to pull the NYPD back. So I don't know how long Jessica Tisch is going to be able to last in the job as police commissioner, because she's going to want to crack down. He's going to say absolutely not, and he's the mayor. But I want you to hear this, and then we're going to get to as many of your calls as I can. I want you to hear this. This is Daniel Finkelman, who is the creator and producer of One Day in October. And I want you to listen carefully. And when we come back from this, we're going right back to your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. I want you to listen to this. I didn't mention Mamdani. At the end, when I ask him an open-ended question, he brings up Mayor-elect Mamdani. So explain to me why, first of all, the film is powerful. Why was this so important to you?
It was important for me because when you sit with people like Sabine Tassa, who lost everything, who lost kids and loved ones, you realize, why am I in this business? Why am I doing what I'm doing if not to actually give that memory a heartbeat? Because the biggest vaccine against hate is memory. And memory is through storytelling. And that's what we're trying to do on this show.
Let's say that one more time. It's so deep. The biggest vaccine?
The biggest vaccine against hate is memory. And memory is best portrayed through storytelling.
And that's exactly what you're doing.
Exactly.
Very visual, tough images. How tough was it for you to relive this?
It was tough, but it was very tough to relive this along with everyone that was involved, because everyone had skin in the game, and along with the director, Oded Davidov, who's in Israel now, who's done an incredible job, and the rest of the producers, Lee, Chaya, Aviv. We actually knew that in order to really tell the story, it needs to be genuine. And in order for it to be genuine, you need to really feel it and be part of it. See, we're not just telling a story on a history once made. We're living history while it's still happening. And that's why it was different than anything else that we've done in the past. In
talking to her, and I can't for her to even be able to stand up after these animals took her husband, her son, and she's here in New York and she's still functioning. But and one of the segments focuses on her. She mentioned several times to be careful that this could happen in the United States, in New York. Do you share that sentiment?
Oh, absolutely. I've been in Israel many times before October 7th, and I've been to those kibbutzim, including the kibbutz where she's from, Sabin Tassa, and I've seen the beautiful lifestyle that they had. And they had great relationships with their neighbors from Gaza. Even more so, they were really protecting them and bringing them out of the border and give them work and give them medicine. And they used to call them on the phone and see, how are you? Happy birthday. Those same people mapped out an exact map of each and every one with their names and the age of the kids. Specifically Sabine. When those terrorists came, they knew her name, they knew her kids' names, and they were looking for them. So my point being is, yes, it could happen anywhere because hate is hate. And like I said, the only way to stand tall against that is by telling those stories and letting people know, don't tell us it's propaganda, because when it comes to real people's lives, there's nothing stronger than that.
And that's one of the things, I've got to wrap this up, but that's one of the things that boils my blood, that it's been called propaganda by some claiming that it didn't happen. You've heard the atrocities. Just tell me some of the things that actually happened. But I've been to Israel 3 or 4 times. I side 1,000% with the people of Israel. And these animals, as far as I'm concerned, a bomb should be dropped on them. But what are some of the atrocities that actually occurred against the people of Israel on October 7th?
You know, there's a saying in Hebrew, and I'll say it in Hebrew, and then we can translate it. Nikmat yeled katan, lo bara satan. The revenge of a little boy, the Satan didn't invent just yet. The atrocities of seeing kids. I'll tell you a first-hand testimony that I heard from a good friend of mine who was in Ichud Hatzalah. Her name is Limor. She went in as a medic on October 7th, at the end of October 7th. And she found a boy with no hands and no feet. He was decapitated, lying on the floor. She picked him up, and he was still breathing. He was breathing, and he died in her arms. You could look it up, because the first interview after October 7th on national TV, I think it was on CNN, this same medic told this story, and she collapsed live on TV while she was telling the story. There are pictures, believe it or not, that obviously no one wants to see and no one should see, of that boy on her arms, dying. What did this boy do? Why does this boy have to suffer? Are you telling us that that's self-defense? Are you telling us that that's resistance? Or are you telling us that by us complaining about it, that's propaganda? No. And I'll tell you this, yes, it could happen here. It could happen anywhere. Because if it happened in that kibbutz, in that beautiful scenery, yes, it could happen here on the streets of New York as well. And hopefully it won't.
Last question. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you feel needs to be talked about for the people of New York City?
You know, when Mamdani was elected, people said, a lot of the Jews said, okay, let's get out of here. We have to buy real estate in Florida. That's not the solution that I believe in. If we escape New York, then what? We leave it to the wolves? We've got to stay in New York. We've got to have representation here. And as the saying goes, if you want to kick out the darkness, just light a little match, and that would kick out a lot of darkness. So our mission in New York is to illuminate and be friendly and be nicer and give New Yorkers a good image. And that, my friend, would go a long way.
And that's Daniel Finkelman, the creator and producer of One Day in October on HBO, 7-part series. Right back to your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. Sandra, New Jersey, line 3. Sandra, what's on your mind?
Well, two things real quick with your voice. One day I'm going to have you next to a piano, and we're going to work on the it's like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I'm going to let you hear what they sound like, and you'll copy it, and that's the first step, Dominic.
Hey, Sandra,
I love your voice anyway.
Wait, Sandra, I already have a piano. I'm not allowed to go in the room. You know, I'm allowed to go into the den or whatever you could to watch TV, but I can't go into the living room where the piano is. I'm not permitted at home. So my grandson plays the piano, but I'm not allowed to go in that room because I'm told that I'll mess it up. But anyway, go ahead, Sandra.
One day you'll come to the club. We'll work on it there. But Dominic, regarding this beautiful event that you put together with Sabine and Daniel Finkelman, look, I feel it's becoming very clear now. Sabine is right. This could happen in New York City. It's actually happening on a very low temperature right now. My concern is Mandami probably likes this, and I'm afraid, and I pray not, that he's going to turn a blind eye on further acts of intimidation, permitting this to continue and escalate. Just this past week, there were 2 incidents, one at a SUNY college in New York. There was an interfaith meeting, and this person, this hating of Jewish people, he screamed out that all the Muslim people must leave now and protest and leave because there was a Hillel director there, this nice man there. So, and then another incident at the synagogue on November 19th. There was an event going on, and there were protesters outside. They continued their event. They're not going to stop. But the point is, this can't continue, and I'm afraid with Mandami it might continue. That's my concern, as you said before.
Well, Sandra, thank you for the great call. Right before you came on the air, I was just thinking about the same thing. I said, God forbid, if something major happens, well, what is Mom Donnie going to say? I mean, something really, really bad here in the U.S. against the Jewish community. As the mayor, what is he going to say when we all know where his heart really is? Sandra, thank you for the wonderful call. 800-848-9222. Time for a break. We're coming back with more of your telephone calls.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, final thoughts of the day. I'm looking at a statement from the White House press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, and she says it speaks volumes, I'm quoting her, that tomorrow we have a communist coming to the White House because that's who the Democrat Party elected as the mayor of the largest city in the country. That from White House press secretary Carolyn Levitt. And she's so correct as Mamdani will meet with President Trump and in under 24 hours. Let's go back to your telephone calls here. Let's see. Let's go to Robin, line 5 in Brooklyn. Robin, what's on your mind?
Well, Dominic, I'm a Jewish New Yorker, a Brooklynite. I've been here all my life, and I survived September 11th. I got out of the train at Fulton Street, Broadway, Nassau, and I looked up, and the World Trade Center was on fire, and people were jumping. And I went into my office building very close by, and we all watched this. We were all part of this. And I think about this every day. And now I just think we've just been totally infiltrated by these Islamists. You know, Mandami is not just like us. I live in Park Slope, and people are crazy here. They think he's just, it's all going to be business as usual, and it's not. I mean, Linda Sarsour thinks October 7th was great. It was a great event. It was a thing to do, to murder and rape and burn babies alive. And they don't like us in New York any more than they like the Israelis. I really think they mean business. And I'm really disappointed in Jessica Tisch because she's going to have absolutely no power. I think the new mission of the police is going to be to protect and serve criminals and Islamists. not New Yorkers.
Oh, okay, but Robin, but the police commissioner found herself between a rock and a hard place. If she stays, at least she can have some input into what's going to happen. If she didn't stay, she would give Mamdani exactly what he wanted to put in. I mean, I've read that this guy may appoint Jamal Bowman as school chancellor, this racist, with all the stuff that he said when he was in Congress, anti-Semite against Israel. I agree with almost everything you said, Robin. With almost everything you said. This is serious business, folks. Sleep on this situation if you want to. You know, I'm not going to categorize the mayor. I can only go by the mayor-elect. I can only go by things he said. I can only go by that he wants to arrest Netanyahu. Robin, he's clearly sending buzzword signals to his base. And they're going, yeah, Mamdani, get him, referring to us. Robin, you have the final word before I move on.
Well, I just see, last night at the synagogue, there was this huge mob of anti-Semites screaming and yelling about the Intifada and the Jews and what we can do and what we can't do. This is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better because he and the DSA don't want the cops involved in this at all. They don't want to protect us.
You're correct. Thank you, Robin. Let's go to Darlene, New Jersey, line 4. Darlene, what's on your mind? Darlene, are you there? Okay, Darlene's not there. Let's go to Morty, line 3, New Jersey. Morty, what's on your mind? We have 30 seconds left.
Hi, Dominic. I just wanted to say, hearing your interview with that gentleman, that these people that are denying October 7th, as you know, I had friends that were killed on October 7th, and one of my friends was kidnapped, and thank God he was saved by the IDF during an operation. He was rescued. But, I don't know why these people deny that it happened. I mean, they finally got what they were looking for. You know
why? It's to create doubt. It's to create uncertainty. It's to say to the weak, and they believe it. The weak believe it. I'm out of time. I apologize, Marty. Marty, I'll be back at midnight. The weak believe that these things didn't happen. Folks, all it takes is $11 a month. Donate $11 a month. Okay, I'm being told I have one more minute. So, Carlos, you can tell that I am exhausted because I'm rushing to wrap up the show, and we still have another minute. I apologize to Marty. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's go to Adam in Florida. Adam, you got 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Real fast. My daughter was at that synagogue last night. Number 2. New York has a bigger problem than Mamdani. It's Linda Solzar. She already said that she's not happy with Jessica Tisch being the police commissioner. And if she doesn't go by their plan, she wants her removed. So I think she's going to be running the city, not Mamdani.
Yeah, Adam, you make some good points there. And still, remember, Mamdani came out, his first endorsement. He knows exactly what he's doing and endorsed that young lady for state assembly that shouldn't even perhaps be in the country. Folks, all it takes is $11 a month. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. I'm back at midnight.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our U.S.-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.